Hey everybody, it's Yanni Collins from Oz Living, where we feature serial entrepreneurs, thought leaders, and prominent figures in the blockchain space. And with me today is the founder and principal of Digital Insights Ventures. His globally recognized status as a leader and speaker in the legal services industry focused on technology, capital markets, M&A, and corporate governance. Krishna Ramachandra, it's so great to meet you.
Likewise, Danny.
So just to kind of start and to give our viewers a little bit of context, tell us your background and how you got into the space.
Well, I've been doing capital markets work for the last 25 years, M&A as well, private equity. So traditional commercial legal work. And 6 years ago, I had a client who had asked me to set up a digital asset fund, and he had insisted that I roll up my sleeves and do it myself. Because at that point, I was just kind of palming off the work to the juniors. Because I was thinking, no, you know what, this is a trend, this is a fad, it's not really going to last. I was proven so wrong, but I was also very grateful to the client for having really gotten me into this whole space, and effectively I was paid to learn, so it's quite rare. And in a sense, I think this is what the industry needs. It needs opportunities being afforded to a whole host of people, because it's easy to be comfortable under your skin in your respective professions, and to kind of embrace a completely new paradigm of thinking. Requires a lot of courage and requires a lot of, I guess, support, right? And so that's something that is close to my heart, and I'm always looking at empowering others.
Totally, word. Now I want to quickly pivot to your company. Tell us all about Digital Insights.
Insights, yeah. So 5 years, I've done perhaps close to about 300 deals now across the domains, across jurisdictions, in blockchain, in cryptocurrencies, advising governments, advising big corporates, exchanges applying for licenses. So really, the whole gamut of it all. And so I've recognized a lot of trends, and I like to think that I have a pretty deep understanding of the ecosystem. And I feel that we are at a stage where there needs to be some advisory and consultancy work which stitches together a few core principles, such as sustainability, and also recognition of old world, if you like, equity valuation principles, which is kind of where I was previously, right? So I recognize that, and I'm able to marry the two together and offer something that is sustainable, because I think when projects these days, they look at grabbing onto the token ecosystem, they forget that 96% still control the levers of society, control the levers of the economy, right? The global economy. So if you're not speaking their language, if you're not getting into their world, for them to justify mentally, intellectually, how would a business actually support itself? How do you actually, sit back at home and, play with your device and earn, right? So concepts like these have to be married with old world concepts as well. So we make it a point to also have a very strong ESG and a UN SDG principles woven into the businesses.
Now I want to turn to your verticals. Could you tell us more about that?
Right. So there are three main verticals. The prominent underlying vertical is sustainability. So every project that we take on, we ensure that we imbibe a culture of sustainability. We essentially want the businesses and the projects to actually flourish in the ecosystem, because if you're a blockchain project and you have interwoven cryptocurrencies or digital assets into your ecosystem, if you are just listening to the echo chamber of that 4%, you are not going to be prepared for what is out there. And so for us, it's important to kind of recognize that as you build out, as you embrace a greater part of the ecosystem that is non-digital but increasingly becoming digital, you are prepared for it. So sustainability is the bedrock of that. And so we have advisory, and then we have got ventures as well, because we want to venture build. We've got a very great mentoring culture at the firm. Half of the guys working and the girls working are Zoomers, because I'm learning a lot from them, because it's as much as we control the levers of society and all of that, it's their generation that's going to dictate the narrative. So So it's a good combination, a good mix. Check it out on the website. It's www.digitalinsights.sg. I think it's a novel way to approach things.
Could you lay out some of the highlights of your company for the past couple of years?
Well, it's actually a very fresh company. So it is fresh, meaning it's just a few months old, but ideated perhaps maybe about 18 months ago, and finally plucked the courage to leave a pretty consistent, good, well-paying job, as an attorney. But to be fair, I've already been doing that for the last 5 years, right? So it was quite a smooth transition, and it wasn't entirely, new or an unknown area, and I had a lot of support. I have a very good ecosystem, a Rolodex of existing players in the scene. So we also try and ensure that each project we advise on, they get the benefit of all the context, because it's all about collaboration and the community.
I want to get your professional opinion rather. How does regulation affect the nascent industry? Does it hurt or protect emerging sectors such as blockchain?
Well, I take the view that the fact that we even have regulations, it means that there's recognition and acknowledgement. Because if you don't recognize and acknowledge that this transformational digital asset class has transcended upon us, you're not going to get full-on adoption, right? So actually, regulation is a good thing, and we certainly want to avoid the headlines of like some scam or a fraud. So I look at regulation as necessary. Obviously, it has to be pragmatic, it has to be measured, and it's got to be tailored according to the situation, because we don't want to stifle innovation. Because there's some really great things with DeFi and even some of the stable coins. And so we should not just cast everything in one basket. I know there have been recent events, but it is what it is. You kind of learn, you fall, and you pick yourself up, metaphorically, for all projects.
I love the philosophical view of yours.
Thank you.
And when we look at that major opportunities and trends that you have identified, what are some of those?
Well, I see the Zoomers being a lot more vocal about their say in how the ecosystem is being crafted out, and particularly in the metaverse, because the metaverse really represents an expression of how digitally, and they are digital natives, right? And so how digitally they are going to exist, and I see that as their platform, and you're going to see a lot of innovative thinking and projects and paradigms being shifted, right? So which is one of the great things about this whole space, because my mind is being stretched constantly, and I love the fact that I'm looking at so many fresh ideas, and it just keeps me energized, and I just love being in this space.
I love it. And now talking about Oz and your synergy between the Digital Insights and Oz, could you tell us more about this partnership?
Well, fundamentally, what struck me about Oz is the fact that they have such a collaborative DNA inbuilt, because, what could be better than building a community? And I think the fact that they are also trying to digitally connect the unconnected and making the effort, because, as I said before, the echo chamber, it's easy for those who have benefited from what's happened the last 5-10 years. It's great, but you kind of need to plan for the future, pay it forward, and if you are already digitally connected, I think it's almost incumbent upon you to try and connect others digitally. And in a sense, what Oz is doing with their projects, I like the fact that they are allowing people to kind of leapfrog from an analog scenario, if you like, straight into digital, and to empower those lives. So philosophically, we are in line with what we want to achieve, and the guys running it are really stand-up guys. So, kudos and all the best for the project. I think it's going to go great guns.
Well, Krishna, it has been such a pleasure having you here. Thank you so much for your invaluable contributions. We've learned so many things, and we'd love to have you around real soon.
All right, thank you very much.